Hey, what's up guys? I actually am gonna try and make this blog thing happen, so just figure we get started with giving you a little update on where I'm at today. I'm at Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida today. I'm out here with Why Don't We on their 8-letter summer tour. Really, to start off with, if you have any questions about the rig, then post them here. I'll try and do a rig walkthrough, and we'll start from there. Thanks for tuning in. All right, first things first, console. Digico SD9. It's got a lot of power for its footprint, and that's why we chose it, and the price was right. So, yeah, this is running the latest software, 1090, I believe, and it's a workhorse. It does, you know, it's the Digico thing. The snapshot power is incredible. I am running some snapshots for really basic stuff, really just kind of mutes and tap tempos, but for organization of the openers, it's really fantastic. And I mean, it's a great sounding desk and it's super capable, and yeah, for the footprint, it's incredible. Next step is the wave setup. I've just got this little Dell Optiplex that Claire is now starting to send out with their rigs, and the Extreme server, and I've got, it is a touchscreen monitor, but I tend to prefer the mouse. And I'm not doing too much, like no more than 2 plugins per channel, and we just don't have a crazy channel count. Most of it's just C6. We do a little bit of this because they're all tracks and they just need to be warmed up a little bit, but mostly just C6 and a lot of H delay, because that's like the only thing that I have fun doing anymore. I've just stuck with our Verb because it's really CPU light and I just think it sounds cool. It works for what we're doing. And I mean, give me something analog-ish to play with. So that's on my master bus. If you have more questions about what I'm doing with waves, just ask away. Again, on this tour, nothing too crazy. No reinventing any wheels. Then once we come out of the console, we come into this Lake LM44. Analog in, analog out, 4 in, 4 out. Not doing anything crazy here. I have an access point, so I can walk around with my tablet here. And it is touchscreen, so I can go around and EQ things to my heart's content. This is a great sounding rig, so I'm doing very little. But you know, I can adjust levels and do EQs from the front fills while I'm down there. So yeah, that's been a really handy tool, being able to walk around with this thing. And then for today, I am gonna grab a multi-track. It's a cool room, we're covered, so I'm not having to deal with rain. So I'm gonna do a multi-track. Oh, and I'm sending this off for the engineer who's gonna cover me in Europe. The openers asked me to grab a left-right, so I did that, and then I'm gonna do a multi-track for, again, the engineer is gonna cover me, and for virtual. I don't record every show, but I will, if I have a good recording that I like that day, then I'll use for virtual pretty much every morning, so I don't have to wait for the tracks I have set up. So that's on my personal computer, and that's going to, or from a Waves MGB back there, and one set of MADI into the MGB, and then network into the laptop, which we might want to go. I might do another video just so we can go through the SoundGrid Studio, because that was the hardest part about getting this Pro Tools rig going. So that's the record and playback situation. Rig, so they have me on a battery backup. The battery powers the Waves computer and the console. So the console has a redundant power supply, so if I lose one, I'm cool. And the Waves computer, just because it takes so long to boot up and down, that I just didn't want to lose the computer. So the Lake is not on because I've heard some issues of trying to draw it from a battery, so that can be an issue. And the server's not on it because I have a quick key. If I lose the server, I'm not that big of a deal. But if we lose power for a minute, it's enough time for me at least to save and figure out who kicked out the plug. So that's line in, battery in, line out, battery out for these cool little connectors here. All going through my clear donut. And yeah, so that's my power situation. Here is the talkback situation. I've got one mic. It's just a switched Sennheiser or whatever, just because I like the switch more than the Shure one. And one of them goes out to the console, and I'm doing a console send receive over the optical connection, Opticore. And then front of house shout, we're doing down our analog snake, so that if we lose the consoles completely, I can still shout to my monitor guy, and we can figure that out, because that's just copper. So that's just kind of an extra backup that we have there. And just to recap of what we got going on in the back of the console, just like every other SD console, they are redundant power supplies, 1 and 2, so I can turn one off and I just get an error on the desk, but it keeps on chugging. You can actually swap this out while the show is running. It's not a big deal. Opticore connections. We're sharing me and monitors are sharing a stage box. He's also on an SD9, and we're sharing an SD rack, so it makes a loop. So I can completely unscrew this, or I can snip it here if I wanted, and the show will completely continue on. It's a redundant loop that can go both ways. So that's pretty slick, and it's a massive channel count. It's super fast and all kinds of cool stuff. That's what they're doing with the Wave sound card now. So between that and a network port down here that goes down to the switch, which talks to the Wave's computer. And then inputs. This is my front house talkback, which we do again through the console send receive. The lighting guy, who's also kind of our production manager, is the show call microphone. We're also doing that on console send receive. iPod for house music, which I'm sure you're getting right now. And then here are my main outputs, left, right, subfill, just like everybody else. Today we have, I don't know what that says, but that's just a hearing impaired feed that I'm giving the house. I just have it matrixed off the left, right. Digico's ye olde keyboard and mouse connectors. And that is, I have all of the talkbacks that are in the system, and all the talkbacks that go to the SD rack. I have it going through an aux bus that is feeding. It is feeding my little shout box down here. Just a 2-channel little all-in-one speaker. There it is. All the talkbacks that are going into the SD rack, and I just have it summed. So talkbacks on stage, the playback guy has a talkback, my monitor guy has a talkback to the musicians, so just so I can listen in. And I do the show call mic in that, just in case I can't hear him standing right next to me. And then that monitor shout line that's coming up copper, so if things really hit the fan, then I still have him. So, you know, different level controls and stuff on him. This is pretty basic, but it does the job. So that's been my rig rundown. Thanks for tuning in for the August 2nd, I think today is, edition of the Why Don't We 8-letter summer tour, coming at you from Jacksonville, Florida, outside in August in Florida. So thanks to that little fan that's going to keep me cool back there, and lots of water, and for this cool Claire rig, and hopefully a good show tonight. Should be another good one.